Tesla is genuinely one of the most interesting companies ever built. They dragged the entire auto industry into the electric age, proved that an EV could be fast and desirable, and for a while seemed completely unstoppable. But somewhere between the promises and the products, things started going wrong in ways that are so consistent, so avoidable, and so perfectly on brand that they almost feel intentional. This is every major Tesla mess up, in order. 1. The first autopilot, death. 2016. On May 7, 2016, a Tesla Model S driving itself on a Florida highway plowed full speed into a white tractor trailer crossing the road. The system didn't brake, it didn't steer, it just didn't see the truck at all, apparently mistaking it for either sky or an overhead sign in the bright sunlight. The driver, Joshua Brown, was watching a Harry Potter movie on a portable DVD player at the time. He died. Now here's the thing. Tesla had been marketing autopilot aggressively. Their own promotional videos showed drivers with their hands off the wheel, completely relaxed. The name autopilot itself implies a level of capability the system didn't have. And Tesla's response to the first death their technology caused? They pointed out it was the first fatality in 130 million miles of autopilot use. Then they reminded everyone that the driver was supposed to stay attentive. That response set the template for everything that followed, an immediate pivot to statistics, a reminder that the human is technically responsible, and a quiet software update later. It's a pattern they've now repeated over 60 times. 2. Autopilot's blind spot. Problem keeps killing people. The 2016 crash wasn't a fluke, it was a preview. In March 2018, a Tesla Model X on autopilot crashed into a concrete highway barrier in Mountain View, California. The driver, Walter Huang, a software engineer at Apple, had received several hands-on wheel warnings but was playing a game on his phone. The car hit the barrier at full speed. Tesla's response, driver inattention. The NTSB's response, Tesla's driver monitoring system, was inadequate, and the system had a known issue with that exact stretch of road. Between 2016 and 2025, at least 65 fatal crashes have been linked to autopilot or full self-driving being active. The most recurring failure isn't some exotic edge case. It's the system not seeing things that are clearly, obviously there. Trucks crossing highways, concrete barriers, parked emergency vehicles, motorcycles. These aren't fringe scenarios, these are normal roads. And the camera-only approach Tesla uses, they dropped radar from most models in 2021, keeps getting cited by investigators as a core limitation. Elon's argument is that humans drive with eyes, so cameras should be enough. The problem is that cameras wash out in sunlight, go blind in fog, and simply lose track of vehicles in ways human eyes don't. In March 2026, NHTSA escalated a probe into exactly this issue, FSD failing in degraded visibility conditions, to a full engineering analysis covering 3.2 million Tesla vehicles. That's the step right before a recall. 3. Model 3. Production hell, 2017 to 2018. In 2016, Elon Musk promised the world a $35,000 electric car for regular people. He called it the most important product in Tesla's history. He opened reservations, collected $500 million in deposits, and set a production target of 5,000 cars per week by the end of 2017. By the end of 2017, Tesla was making 793 cars a week. What followed was a genuinely painful 18 months that Elon himself later called production hell. Robots that were supposed to automate everything kept breaking down or doing their jobs wrong. Entire sections of the production line had to be rebuilt, in some cases literally in a tent outside the factory. Workers described chaotic shifts, safety shortcuts, and pressure to hit targets that had no relationship to actual manufacturing reality. The $35,000 base model, it quietly disappeared. The cheapest Model 3 available for most of this period was closer to $49,000. Customers who had waited 2 years for their affordable Tesla got the option to either pay more or wait longer. Most paid more. Because what else were they going to do? 4. The automatic update. That deleted people's files. Tesla pushed software updates to cars over the air, which is actually innovative and often useful. But the culture of treating your product as a software platform with users who just accept whatever you push eventually caught up with them in a different context. Windows did this to computers, Tesla did this to cars. In 2019 and again in reported incidents through 2023, Tesla owners woke up to find features on their cars simply gone, not broken, removed. Features they had paid for, like enhanced autopilot capabilities or certain ludicrous mode settings, were quietly adjusted through software, sometimes after resale, sometimes after a service issue. People had bought hardware that was then changed under them without meaningful consent. The most stark version of this, a man in Hong Kong bought a used Tesla that had the enhanced autopilot feature included. Tesla pushed an update and removed it remotely, then told him he'd need to pay to get it back. Features that were already on the car he'd bought. Tesla eventually reversed this specific case after media attention, but the underlying principle that Tesla can reach into your car and change what it does without asking you has never really gone away. 5. Full self-driving, the longest beta test in history. In 2016, Elon Musk said full self-driving capability was 2 years away. In 2019, he promised 1 million robo-taxis on the road by the following year. In 2021, he said FSD would be better than human drivers by the end of the year. In 2023, he said the same thing again. In 2024, the robo-taxi event was delayed. In 2025, some robo-taxis did show up, but the timeline for actual deployment keeps sliding. Full self-driving has been sold as a $15,000 add-on since 2016. Hundreds of thousands of people have paid for it. What they got was a feature that requires constant supervision, regularly does inexplicable things, driving into oncoming lanes, phantom braking on empty highways, stopping at green lights, and is still officially in beta, nearly a decade in. The actual harm here isn't just the deaths, though those matter enormously. The harm is that an entire generation of drivers bought into the idea that their car would drive itself, paid premium prices for that promise, and have been living with something that requires more attention than regular driving in some situations. That's not a delayed feature. That's a fundamentally different product from what was advertised. 6. The $243 million verdict, 2025. In August 2025, a Florida jury found Tesla 33% liable for a crash in which a Model S on autopilot rear-ended a parked car and killed a 22-year-old woman named Nibel Benavides Leon. The driver was on his phone. Autopilot didn't stop. 2 people were struck. She died. Her boyfriend was severely injured. The jury awarded $243 million, $43 million in compensatory damages, and $200 million in punitive damages. The punitive number wasn't about the crash specifically. It was about Tesla's behavior across years. Marketing that encouraged inattention, driver monitoring that was weak by design, and a consistent pattern of blaming dead drivers for trusting a product the company spent years telling them to trust. Tesla had rejected a $60 million settlement offer before trial. In February 2026, a federal judge upheld the full verdict. This is the first time a U.S. jury has directly held Tesla liable for an autopilot death. It won't be the last. 7. The Cybertruck. The Cybertruck was announced in November 2019 with a starting price of $39,900 and a promised delivery date of late 2021. It finally started limited deliveries in late 2023, 2 years late, at a starting price of $60,990. The $39,900 model was simply discontinued. Then the recall started. Accelerator pedal getting stuck, windshield wiper failures, a front trim piece that could detach at highway speed, a software defect affecting the brakes, a frunk that could trap hands. By early 2025, the Cybertruck had been recalled 6 times in roughly 12 months of production. For a vehicle that spent years as a symbol of futuristic engineering, the reality was a product that felt rushed out the door after the delays made waiting any longer untenable. The stainless steel body, a signature design choice, also turned out to be nearly impossible to repair after any collision, with bodywork costs running multiples of what comparable trucks would cost. Several owners discovered this after minor parking lot incidents. Every Tesla mess-up shares a common structure. An ambitious promise is made loudly and publicly. The timeline is missed. The product ships in a compromised form. When something goes wrong, the user or the driver or the buyer is told they misunderstood, and then a software update quietly fixes something that probably shouldn't have shipped that way. Anyway, subscribe, lil bro.